This keeps getting crazier and crazier. And what am I talking about? The whole situation with Juan Soto, our guy, the face of the New York Mets, and it's not a good situation, as I alluded to in my last video. Go check that out if you haven't already. Kind of a prereq to this video, kind of get you going into today's video. So, last video I dived into 5 big problems that the New York Mets are facing right now, and this is arguably their biggest one. The guy that they are paying the largest contract in sports, $765 million, and he is just straight up not producing, and unfortunately, there's even more negative stuff to go over than that. But first, I want to formally welcome you back to Mets Digest. I'm your host today, Mike Duda, and as always, I like to start off with some statistics, and today's stats is that 73.6% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So please do me a favor, do us a favor here at Mets Digest. Hit that subscribe button. That way we can bring content to you about the Amazins. So, this all started last weekend, started on Friday when the Subway Series kicked off. Juan Soto returns to the Bronx for the first time since he left the Yankees to go to the Mets, and he knew he was going to face some problems. He knew he was going to face the boos. He said 50,000 are out to get me. I think that's a little egregious because a lot of Met fans show up for the Subway Series because it's so close, but still, he was definitely going to face some problems, some boos, and some harsh reactions. Take a look at this video when he returned to the Bronx. So Yankee fans are going to be Yankee fans. That's just what they do. They're going to be childish. You see that in the video. Juan Soto, though, I'm happy with him. He was being the bigger person. Yankee fans were acting like they had him for so long. It was just one season. Meanwhile, us Met fans, we lost Jacob deGrom after about a decade with him, and we didn't have this kind of reaction when he came back. Anyway, Met fans over Yankee fans any day of the week. So, Soto, he has a good reaction when he comes back to the Bronx. He tips his helmet, he's the bigger person, and he's not showing up the Yankee fans. I loved that. I thought that was awesome. Despite the really bad start, I thought that was something positive for Juan Soto's season. But you get into the actual play and the actual series itself, and there's a lot more problems that come up. Juan Soto is just straight up not hustling. He wasn't hustling throughout the entirety of that series, and you saw it in the outfield. I think most especially when Aaron Judge hit a double, he was going down the line, he's just trotting. And I remember saying the entire series, I was like, well, maybe it's the way that he knows the ballpark, it's a short porch out there, maybe he knows a certain bounce is coming, right? It wasn't just that series, though. It continued to happen. He is not hustling in the outfield, and unfortunately, that's not all. There's more to go over, but first, for those of you that don't know, Juan Soto is having a really, really bad statistical season. Right now, his slash is 236, 369, 418 for a 786 OPS, a 126 OPS plus. That's really, really good. That's 26 points above league average. Very good. But compared to who Juan Soto is and why we're paying him the largest contract in sports, it's nowhere near where Juan Soto should be. A career slash of 282, 418, 526 for a 944 OPS, and a 158 OPS plus. So the stats are down. We all knew that. But my main problem is the hustle. You saw that in the outfield where he's not going to retrieve the ball. He's not giving it 110%. And then here's my problem. He's showing cockiness when he hits a ball well, and he's thinking it's gone. Great. The homers aren't gone, and I'll show you the video right now that shows this perfectly.
In the last 5 games. Well, he's trotting again. And for not on segunda base.
Now, as you heard in the video, Keith Hernandez had one specific word that I thought was really, really important that showed that Soto just straight up hasn't been hustling. He said this has happened now on multiple occasions. This wasn't the first time that he stared at a home run and didn't run to first base. This isn't the first time he didn't run out a ground ball to first base, didn't hustle in the outfield. This has been happening, and Hernandez said it while he was simply calling the game. He was broadcasting, and he has noticed that as someone that's watched the Mets every single day, and I think a lot of Met fans agree, he has just not been hustling. But Juan Soto will not say that. Take a look at this clip.
Couple nights you've had couple of plays where you were slow getting the box. Is that something you have to be more aware of?
No. I think been hustling very hard. You see it today, you could tell.
So you hear the remarks there from Soto, and you saw the swing. It was a good swing, don't get me wrong, but that should have been a double. You take a look at Juan Soto's quote here when he was talking about that at-bat. He said, quote, "I hit it pretty hard. It's a really short green monster. I tried to get to second, but it wasn't enough." Now, the problem with that is the green monster is 37 feet high, and Soto hit that pretty high up. I would say he was 25 to 30 feet above the wall, but it wasn't high enough to clear it. Now, when you hit a ball that high, it's going to have a lot of air time. It's going to hang for a while. And the problem is, Soto wasn't hustling out of the box, because if he was, due to the air time, he would have been on second base. This is just him denying that he's not hustling, and that's a big problem, as you see with the quote that you heard in the clip. He said, quote, "No, I think I've been hustling pretty hard. If you see it today, you could tell." Now, that's Juan Soto on if he needs to be more aware of coming slowly out of the batter's box, and he's denying it. I guess that's even a bigger problem that I have with Soto. Not only is he not performing well when we're paying him the largest contract in sports, he's not hustling, and then on top of all of that, he's denying that he's not hustling. That is a massive problem. That's terrible. That is really bad. That is the definition of rock bottom that you can get if you're Juan Soto. Because you have the three biggest problems that you can get into. Not producing well, being cocky, showing it up and not hustling, and then on top of that, denying all of it. So that's a massive problem, and that sparked a reaction out of the skip, Carlos Mendoza. He said, quote, "We'll talk to him about it. Tonight, obviously, if someone gets a hold of one and knows when he gets it, it's Juan. He thought he had it with the wind and all that in this ballpark, anywhere, in anyone, but particularly in this one, with that wall right there, you've got to get out of the box." Yeah, we'll discuss that. So it's a problem even when the skip is saying it. And I really like Carlos Mendoza. I think he's a great manager. And I'm glad that he said that. Because Juan Soto, despite having that massive contract, should not be above the rest of the team. He's bringing down the team. And that's where the manager needs to step in and say, look, this can't happen. And I'm super happy that Carlos Mendoza did that, because Soto has been a massive disappointment and a problem this season. We'll see it a little bit more in the next video, and I'll be a little bit more positive in part 2 of this Juan Soto discussion. But as for now, you've seen it. He is not hustling. He's denying that he's not hustling, and obviously Juan Soto is not producing to Juan Soto's standards. That's all the time I have for this video of the Juan Soto discussion. Tune in about an hour for part 2, where I will be a little bit more positive, and I will also discuss a piece of news that came out in regards to Soto. That's all the time I have for you today on Mets Digest. Thank you so much for watching as always. Don't forget to tune into part 2 in just a little bit over an hour, and as for now, I will see you guys next time, and let's go Mets.